If you touch my drums, I will stab you in the neck with a knife.
Welcome back to Pop Culture Explosion. I'm Mike, this is Paul.
And here at Pop Culture Explosion, we do all the research, we do the news, we gather everything and we give it to you. Mike, what or who are we talking about today?
Today we are talking about the amazing Jaki Nelson.
Hey, wasn't that Jaki Nelson that was in that movie Absolution that we just talked about a few weeks ago?
Oh, that movie that's gonna like take the whole film festival circuit by storm coming up.
Yeah, blew us away in that one scene. I mean, plus
amazing.
That trailer that she's in. I mean, there's that shot with her eyes that that's like.
I cried.
I was like, that's one of those crazy chicks that you don't date, right? Look, so Jaki, thank you so much for joining us today.
Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Well, you know what? We have some questions for you. We're assuming you have some answers, because if you don't have answers, then this is going to be a pretty
quick conversation.
So, Mike, why don't you start off?
All right. Well, I just wanted to find out, when did you find out that the acting bug had bit you?
That happened in high school when I was doing a production of Rent at my high school. We were very forward-thinking high school. And about 90% of our faculty was gay, so Rent was the choice. And my friend told me that I should audition, and I was like, I don't really like theater that much and acting. She was like, no, you have to do it. So I was like, all right, I'm doing it. And then I, after 6 callbacks, got the role of Mimi, which is one of the leads, and that was really awesome. And then at the last performance, I think it was the last performance, I had the whole death scene at the end, and I walked off stage and I looked back, and my dad, I could see my dad in the bleachers, not the bleachers, but kind of bleachers, and he was crying, and I just couldn't not do it after that.
Well, I mean, your dad had been, first of all, that must have been a very powerful scene, because, as an actor, the job is to really invoke emotion. But I wouldn't be surprised if there was also a strong sense of pride with that, and those were tears of joy. So that's pretty cool.
So would you say that sparked your bug? Did you realize the magic was there at that point?
Yeah, that was kind of the moment. And from after that, my mom and I decided to put up a play, a musical. So we wrote and did all the music and brought in people. But I helped edit, and I acted as one of the leads in this show that went up in North Hollywood for 3 weeks after the year after that. So I think that was Rent was definitely the reason that I really got into it.
So you're doing, when you were younger, you're doing piano lessons, is that right? So
yeah.
And you said you guys did all the music, so you wrote everything and brought that in.
We had a guy who was our musical director, but my mom and I wrote all the lyrics, and I edited all of the script and everything. So
awesome. So what, leading up to Absolution, what would you say some of your projects in the past were something you were most proud of that stand out for you?
That play that we did in North Hollywood was really cool because we'd had a lot of issues with kind of people thinking that we had issues with race in the past in our family, and it was just so unfounded. So we wrote this play about how bad things happen and how people can come together. And it was a cast of every race you can imagine. It was a huge cast. There was 30 people in it. And it was a really beautiful play. It's a musical. And the music was really good. And I got really great reviews from it. And that was really cool to be validated in that way.
So you guys wrote all the music yourself?
With some help, yeah.
Excellent.
And me and my sister did as well. My sister
Nice.
helped to write lots of stuff.
Okay. Now, among your credits that you have out there on the IMDb, how would you say, how do you go about getting the opportunities? Where do you work with an agent, or what is your process?
I have an agent and I have a manager, and I would say that my manager probably is the most helpful for me. She's always getting me out. She's really helpful. But I think I book the most work just by leaving my house and seeing people and showing them my work and being like, oh yeah, this is what I do. And I tend to get the most work just by meeting people.
Okay. So before we dig into kind of the Absolution project, do you do any modeling? It seems like many of the pictures I've seen suggest that you kind of seamlessly move into that category, in and out of that.
I do model. I will model for someone that asks me to model for them, and I enjoy that, but I can't do the modeling audition process. It's so painful. It's just so, like, acting projects, you can walk in and somebody can write you off and then you can change their mind. Kind of like I did with Absolution, where they gave me 2 lines. They were like, she couldn't possibly be the lead, and then they gave me the lead. Whereas with modeling, if you walk in and they write you off, you're done, you leave. They're like, all right, cool, thanks.
You know what? This brings a really good point. Let's move up to Absolution now. So tell us a little bit about the audition process that you experienced with Absolution.
That was my favorite audition process ever because they had offered me a role as one of the other characters, Arya, and she didn't have any lines. They said they were going to write me some lines, and I was so excited. It was my first feature film booking. I was so excited to have 2 lines and to be able to travel to Montana. And then I guess they were doing the table read, and their lead couldn't go for some reason. She couldn't be there. So they called me and they're like, hey, can you read the Trix character? And I was like, yeah, I can go to Chicago and do that for free. That's great. Yeah. And so I go to Chicago and I get there and they're like, yeah, you're not going to like actually be the lead, obviously, but like, we just want to hear it. And I was like, okay, cool. So I had studied all week for this. I was like, I really want to like get into the character and like understand her and why she does what she does, because reading it the first time, it's just like, what is this person? She's scary. And then after the reading, I walked out and Josh, the director, came up to me and he was like, hey, could we meet for lunch tomorrow? And I was like, yeah, great. So I met him for lunch the next day. And he was like, actually, you are in the running for the lead now, so could you send us an audition on tape? And I was like, yeah. So like a week later, I had the audition to him. It's one of my favorite auditions I've ever done in my life. I feel like I've never felt more like another person. So that was really cool. And they reacted similarly, and they called me about 2 weeks later, and they were like, all 5 of the people on the board unanimously voted in your favor, and you are the lead now.
Wow, congratulations. That's awesome. So, all right, so you got to really get to know Trix. From the sounds of it, she doesn't have any admirable qualities, but is there a quality about Trix that you either like or respect?
I respect that she can get what she wants, no matter what. It just does not matter what is in her way.
Wow. So you talked about prepare. How did you prepare for this character?
I read it probably 60 million times, and then I started to try to figure out why I took into consideration the things that she says happened to her, which are very traumatic, and then I had to decide for myself whether she was telling the truth or not. And I think for the most part she is. I think she is. So I I took that and I started researching videos of rape victims who had made videos to talk to their abusers, and try to study like their facial expressions and how they think and why they say the things that they say. And there was a very clear through line there, and that was really hard to deal with. Anytime I had a crying scene, I would just watch one of those videos and I'd be just in it because it's just so intense. Some of the scenes were really, really difficult emotionally, but very rewarding.
So now you were part of the Montana group, right? Were you in Chicago? So you were there for what, about 2.5, 3 weeks?
About 3 weeks, yeah.
Okay.
And I also went to Chicago. We filmed the church scene from the trailer.
Oh, you were in the Chicago scene too. Okay, yeah. What was the hardest part about filming in Montana? Because you guys weren't in a 5-star resort or nothing. No.
That was actually my favorite part. Okay. So I got to stay in this trailer that had no electricity, and we had to choose between locking the door and keeping the bears out potentially, or letting an extension cord come through and we could plug our phones in at night. And we chose the electricity for some reason.
Bears, electricity. Bears, I have to have my phone tomorrow. So
apparently having a phone was more important to us. So, yeah. So I was staying in this ridiculous RV from like the 70s that does not move anymore. It does not have electricity. And then most of the time, though, I was staying not at base camp. I was somewhere else. I was on near set. We were staying in this. You could call it a house, but it wasn't finished. It wasn't a finished house. It was a shell of a house.
Yeah.
Like it was literally like wood panels everywhere. And so, in order to shower, because I was almost never at base camp, I would have to throw on a bathing suit, and then I'd throw on a shirt and a sweatshirt and sweatpants. And then I'd sprint a mile down to Sealy Lake, which is glacial runoff, by the way. Rip it all off after I'm dying of heat. Jump in. I can only be there for like 45 seconds before my body goes numb. And I'm like showering like so fast, getting out, putting conditioner in, jumping back in, washing it out real fast, and then just like bolting out of there and putting all of my clothes back on so that I can warm up again. And then walking the mile back to camp and like drying my hair over a fire.
Did you do that every day?
No, I did that like once or twice, but
whether you needed it or not, right? Yes.
Yeah.
Wow. Are you like a soldier? Do you have military experience?
Like commando stuff? Because, I mean, as a couple of dudes, I mean, I'm going 3 weeks without a shower.
And Josh did say in the other interview that, actors are strong people, that sums it up right there.
He spoke very highly of all you guys and the sacrifices you had to make.
Yes.
He told us a story, though, and I don't think we filmed it. I think this was kind of like a side story. Mm. It had to do with like a late night scene in Ants.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my God! That was the worst thing ever, and I hope that there is footage somewhere of it because I want it.
Okay, so what happened in that story?
So, we were doing this intense scene. I can't remember which one it was, but I think it was like one of the makeout scenes. And I'm sitting on this rock, and they had me in these pants that were like a little bit too small for me, so the back was kind of like hanging. If you've ever put pants on and tried to sit, they were too small. And so I'm sitting there, and I'm like, what is that? What is that in my? Oh my God! And I look, and there's just an army of ants that are from the Cretaceous period in my pants, and there's gotta be some amazing footage out there of me just realizing this and freaking out and just like running around in circles screaming.
But you finished the scene though, realizing you had these ants in your pants.
I don't think I did. I mean, maybe I did. Maybe I got through like real close.
Josh said
some
you
really
finished
interesting
the scene.
footage, and they used it and cut off before I started screaming and running around.
I think you had out-of-body experience because Josh said you finished the scene. and then you
He
did
was
this.
like cut, and he's like,
You were out. So, again, that's between taking a bath in a glacier-run lake and having ants. That's amazing. So, Jackie, before we wrap up this conversation, do you have any upcoming projects that you're working on?
I've actually been focusing a lot on music lately, and I actually just came back. I was working in New York for 2 weeks with this music deal thing, and I'm really excited about it. One of them, I've been doing EDM for a really long time, and this one is very EDM. It's very, very, but it's so fun, and we've got some good stuff cooking with as long as promotion and stuff like that. So I think it's going to do really well.
Excellent. Well, Jackie, you have a website. Can you give us the name of that website?
Oh, yeah. My website?
Yes, please.
JakiNelson.com.
Perfect. And we'll take that and we'll put that in the link in the description. So, Jackie, Mike, do you have anything else to add?
I think that covers it. We covered the projects, and I know you mentioned that Absolution was one of your more proud moments there in your film career. What do you feel like some of your goals are reaching out into the future now? Do you want to do more feature films, or do you want to
I would
continue
love
with
to
music?
cross over into television.
Mm-hmm.
I love television. I watch so much television, probably more than I should. But yeah, I think that would ideally be where I would end up.
Excellent.
End game television shows.
I know it's like totally off the table in most universes, but like Empire.
Well, I'm still waiting to be called in for either Game of Thrones or The Walking Dead, but my phone isn't rung yet. So
The Walking Dead, I think, is a little bit more attainable.
I think so too. Well, there's only like 13 more episodes of Game of Thrones. So, Jackie, thank you so much. This was brilliant. This was a lot of fun, and cannot wait for the release of the film.
Me either.
So it's going to be awesome. Well, we appreciate your time, and we will talk to you soon.
Bye.
All right.